What's good, people? What's good, people? What's good? Yo, just want to thank everybody for joining, yo. This is Alex August. Welcome to My Real Vivid Life. This is my official YouTube channel as well as Twitch. Shout out to all my people that are tuning in on Twitch. Um, and the purpose of this channel is pretty much to just give you highlights and deep dive conversations into the world of creation. And of course, being your tour guide through what is called and what I'm coining as the vivid life. So just want to bring you guys into bring you guys into the channel really, really fast, and then just take you guys literally through what our conversation is going to be. So every one of these live streams that I'm going to be doing, and I'm trying to make sure I keep up with a pretty consistent schedule. But all of these live streams that I do are pretty much going to have kind of this consistent basis of talking about where I've gone, what I've done, and then highlighting how I did it and some of the background information on that. Because I can imagine that, like, from the standpoint of being on social media and me just kind of like popping up sometimes with new content, it's like, what is going on? Like, where did you go? Where are you at now? What are you doing next? And all that kind of information. So just want to really like get people through understanding like where I'm going, where I've been, and then of course what I'm doing. Right. I think number one, the support that I have from my network has been dope, has been awesome. It's really good to see every now and then. So of course, first things first, I'm going to call out is be sure if you want to keep up with all things happening in the world of Marvel World and Alex August, definitely visit alexaugust.com. Subscribe to that. You'll get newsletters and information on what's going on, kind of like a lot of the behind the scenes and kind of the stories behind what's going on with that. If you want to make sure you're keeping up with the visual aspects of that, that's where you definitely want to make sure you're subscribing to I Am Alex August on YouTube. Hit the bell for notifications and personalized videos that drop right to you and give you the story of what's going on, man. It's been dope, and we're just about halfway through October. I don't know where October has to go, but October's been moving pretty quickly. And with that, man, it's been a lot of dope stuff going on. But let's dive into the adventures that we've been talking about and everything that's been kind of memorable and dope this month. So we're gonna start first and foremost with um, earlier this month, and just to give you guys a lot of background. Let's actually take it way steps back. Very, very obviously, I have locks, right? And this is actually my second go around with having locks. I had locks from 2011 to 2015. Then I did the big chop, and then tried to ride out for like three years. I was going 3 years strong, almost 3 years of just like haircuts, different hairstyles that I was trying to like find and try to make sense of. I did the blowouts, I did the mohawks, I did the blowout mohawks, I did the faded sides, I did the sponge brush, which I liked a lot, actually. I really liked the sponge brush look. As a guy, I thought it was really cool. Um, but the longer I did the sponge brush and the more I did it, I actually realized that the tips of my hair were locking on their own. And that's where I was just like, you know what? I really like the long sponge brush look. And then once I started getting to the long sponge brush look, I was like, you know what? The hair is getting long enough. Let's just go back to it, right? Let's just go back to having locks. And so 5 years ago, June in the summer, decided to go get my locks started, right? And so for me, I've always lived a life of like understanding the difference, the nuance between like what is it like to have locks and then what is it like to not have locks, right? And I can go into it if you guys have any questions on that, and really just go into a deep dive of what that looks like. Um, but in having locks in the last 5 years, I have a newfound appreciation of what it means to be yourself, right? What it means to be able to like present yourself in a very authentic way. Like today, not even today, as of late, right? As of this new length of hair that I have, my hair is much longer than it has ever been. And glory be, it's also much healthier than it's ever been, right? And so there, it kind of comes to a point where like it kind of gets pretty long. And sometimes, with it being so new, you don't really always know what to do with it because it just gets long. in the face, it's on the sides and stuff like that. So today I'm just kind of rocking the branded roses. For those that are new, you're probably always going to see me in burgundy with roses or with stars, right? That's the brand. That's kind of my favorite thing to wear. I feel like it compliments me very well. So, in my own journey, I've kind of found ways to like keep up with what I got to keep up with when it comes to my hair, but that has brought me across some very, very dope people. And so for the last year, I've been going to Simone Hilton to get my hair retwisted, washed, retwisted, and she's the co-founder of Natural Trendsetters down in Tamarack, which is where I'm pretty much where I'm at right now, down in Tamarack, kind of Broward County, south side of Palm Beach County, and so hearing her journey at the same time of like working through the intricate pieces of Marvel World has kind of brought the both of us together. And she was receiving what's called the Master Pioneer Award, which is an award show that is essentially the Oscars or the Grammys for the natural hair care industry. So it was really, really dope. And I was invited by her and working with her to do content creation for her kind of story, her journey in natural hair care. So it was a lot. It was a lot of dope stuff. Being with her, being with the crew, being with the fam, and kind of working through all of that. And so that took place from August 6th to August 7th. August, I'm way off. Wait. October 6th and October 7th up in Bowie, Maryland, which is maybe 40 minutes, if that, 35 minutes south of Baltimore. And so we created a whole lot with that. And just was, we were in it, right? We were in it very much kind of getting into the nitty gritty of all of those different moving pieces. And I'm working on getting a video up here so I can show just what that was like. And give me 1 second as I actually do that. I need to make sure that it is muted so things don't go crazy. Um, but yeah, it was dope, yo. It was a really, really, really good time. Being able to shoot all of that and capturing that entire moment, right? This huge kind of career moment for someone who's been doing natural hair care and kind of pioneering natural hair care for over 20, 25, 30 years. So really, really dope stuff, man. And in that, I was able to just capture a lot of the dopeness, capture a lot of what needed to be captured, which is the journey of like arriving into Bowie all the way to receiving the award and kind of walking off. So this week you guys will see a lot of the moments that I'll be releasing into the YouTube ethers, into the TikToks, into all of that stuff. So it's going to be a good time. And I'm actually just going to show a little bit of what that looks like.
I pull up in these clothes, look so good. Cause I'm in that hoe. You know, all these songs sound good. Cause I'm on that hoe. Dead ass. Dead ass. I'm dead ass. It's not the time and it's not the
Yeah. So, just shooting dope stuff like that. And I think a couple of weeks ago, I actually posted about these lights. These lights were the highlight of the entire weekend. Um, these are the newer lights that I posted about on one of my shorts. These bad boys are powerful. And I talk about them all the time because they are so, 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 so great. But right now, I just have them on kind of a warmer light. I was thinking about using these because I'm kind of more in a little bit of a warmer light, I should say. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm actually already using one of these. So I'm under like a rack of lights. They're pretty warm, but I think adding like white light to this kind of balances it out. The only reason why I'm not using this directly is because, as you can tell, it definitely does kind of add too many shadows. But I already have one set up here, and it's so far it has been adding a lot of like coolness to the room. Right? Doesn't need to be direct, but it definitely helps without necessarily creating any more shadows than I need behind me. If I were to have these directly on me, right, it would look really weird. But I have these kind of like offset to the side, kind of pointing in a different direction, and it already keeps the room pretty cool. Now, how we use this weekend in out in Bowie was there is a specific setting on these called, and please excuse me for the flashing lights effects that I'm about to show. Hopefully no one is affected or impacted by them. But this is what we're calling paparazzi, right? So the whole weekend I'm like snapping photos of everybody, and I'm like, yo, do you want the paparazzi? You know what I mean? And we're on red carpet. So for me, I'm very much like, when I think of red carpet, I think of outfits. I'm thinking of fashion. I'm thinking of looks. I'm thinking everyone's jazzed up. Everyone looks really great. And the whole time I'm like, look, I got these lights. Do you want the paparazzi? Like, do you really want the paparazzi effect? And I think as soon as everyone kind of saw the effect that the paparazzi, and it's literally called on here, as you guys can see, it is an effect called paparazzi. So that's actually not nuance. I didn't make it up. But this effect just kind of adds that like glamour to the whole night. And considering the fact that I was doing red carpet I'm doing red carpet and I'm doing a fashion show the very next day. I was like, dude, I definitely I need to have this, right? I need to have this whole thing of like, I need to have this impact where we're creating and we have something there that just makes people feel very like bossy, glamorous, and like have everybody do their poses. So, a lot of people ask me whenever it comes to content creation and whenever it comes to all of this stuff, people always ask me, like, how do you come up with these ideas? Right. And there's a few things. Number one, God bless the algorithm sometimes, but like I follow a lot of pages on your TikToks, on your Instagrams, where I get to see what is it like what is the attitude of models. Like I follow a lot of models because I want to see what the end result is of what it looks like to pose. I think one of the first things that I remember very long time ago, I was doing photography and I was taking photos and things like that. And I remember someone asked me to take photos for them, which is obvious, right? Once you start posting photos and things like that, you're going to get that request. But I struggled with like, how do I get this person to pose? Like, that was the one thing that I didn't really know how to do. How do I get somebody to pose and how do I make them look comfortable with me posing them on camera, right? So that's one thing that I've like been learning over the last 2 years, right? Is like, how do you get other people who are not you to pose and feel like their most beautiful self? How do you get them to feel like their baddest self? And through following different models and following through different photographers, I've definitely like picked up on that and been able to kind of grow that muscle a lot. So with working with the paparazzi lights and getting everybody there, and just overall, right, shooting with Marvel World and shooting content and being at events, it's very much about make people comfortable by making them be who they want to be or allowing them to be themselves. And I feel like I was having this conversation the other day where a lot of times when we think of like, we have this phrase like Instagram model, we have like almost like we chastise people and we reprimand people for being what we determine or what other people determine to be like vain, right? And I think when you give people the floor and the space to be beautiful and to be comfortable and be glamorous and to be whatever it is that they want to be, if you can give them that ability while you're capturing them and then show them like, yo, you look absolutely amazing. I think it's like really, really dope. And the reason why I brought up the whole piece of my journey with hair and my like what this even has to do is there's this like duality that like as I'm working with Simone, I'm like, you already know what that looks like because as a stylist, as a hair care stylist, that is your job, right? Is like people come to your shop and maybe they're not necessarily feeling themselves. I know some people, as soon as they get a little bit of new growth, it's like they're down, right? I am not like that. As you can see, I very much actually embrace the new growth look, um, to an extent. And so for me, I'm like, I'm really big on, all right, like if you know what that looks like and what that feels like when we're shooting you, now it's your turn to feel like that way. So I think it's like kind of paying it forward. But being able to just work with people and get them to get that sense of like, ooh, I get to be who I want to be on camera, right? Is the goal of Marvel World. Like that's the goal of Marvel World because I am a storyteller. So when I'm capturing you, I want the footage we're capturing to be able to tell the story of who you are. Personalized content creation, that's one of my services that I'm doing for folks. I very much want them to feel like they can be themselves, like you can be your baddest self, you can be your most gorgeous self, you can be all of those things, right? And that's what I'm going for whenever we have that. So when we turn on like the paparazzi lights and I'm like, yo, do you feel that? Like I'm like holding both of these lights up and I'm like, do you feel that sense of almost like it feels like a bunch of like hundreds of cameras are shooting you? Yeah, now be you, like be who you would be if we were really in that like world of hundreds of cameras shooting at you. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope. It was really, really dope. Just kind of capturing that entire evening. And there's a lot more in progress. I'm actually, currently in the works of like editing some videos for that and kind of finishing that up. So it's been really, really good. Before I continue, I definitely want to tell you guys about a quick event, really quick. Marvel World and myself, I am Alex August, present Vivid Nights happening November 5th, 2023. So join me at the Heights Lounge on November 5th, 4 p.m. Tickets are now available. If you scan the QR code up top, you'll actually be able to get those tickets right now. This is a music-based event where we're kind of bringing like a very eclectic, soulful vibe to the city in terms of just being able to host and give a platform for artists to perform, to kind of get rid of the Sunday scaries, as well as just being able to network. So it's art, it's music, it's social, and it's also very much vivid. So we've got I Am on the bill to perform. We've got Down to Earth. Their sound is amazing. Like these guys, like guy and girl, this duo, this pair is just amazing. And then of course we got my boy, the clarinet dude himself, Frankie Brown, and lastly yours truly, Alex August, on that bill for performing. So music by DJ Brightlight, and again that's taking place at the Heights Lounge in Tampa. Be sure to scan that QR code up top and grab your tickets now while they last because they will be going pretty fast. The Heights Lounge is gorgeous. It's an all new lounge that opened up in Tampa. If you're looking for a brand new spot in town to kind of like get a feel for something really, really chill, but that has a very, very gorgeous aesthetic, the Heights Lounge is definitely that place, offering a wide variety of kava, kratom, and coffee cocktails. So check that out. Again, that's November 5th, 2023 at the Heights Lounge. Vivid Nights tickets now available. I'm going to keep the QR code up top just so you guys have it available. And we'll kind of take it from there. But let me take a brief checkup real quick, a brief pause, while I just kind of look into our streams here. Wow, we're 20 minutes in. Yeah, I tested this out the other day, right? I tested out this live stream function. And right now I'm live on both YouTube and Twitch, and I absolutely love it. So keeping that going, man, keeping that going for sure. But in the meantime, wanting to keep some of this going. So we will, I'm going to take a quick break so that I can grab a quick water. I could swore I did grab a water and I just never brought it to myself. So let me make sure I'm all good here. So, yep. All right, we're gonna jump right into this one.
Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss, take off the weird ass jewelry, I'ma take 10 steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricate streams and the microwave memes, it's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo, take off the Sandro, pay 5 days late, take off for the meal, hella fine. Take off the fuck flag, take off perception, take off the cop with the iPad, take off the unload, take off the unsure, take off the silly slide. Take off the fake deal, take off the fake woke, take off the humble cock here. Take off the gossip, take off the new logic, then the phone with jungle. Take off the sugar, take off the doje, take off the.
All right, I got my drink here ready now. My bad. But yeah, so the next thing that I want to talk about before I get into talking about um, the rest of Baltimore weekend and everything like that is I've been having a lot of conversations about artificial intelligence, and there's two topics surrounding that. It's like number one, there's a lot of focus on AI taking jobs and things like that. And I actually want to challenge everyone who is saying that, especially creators who are saying that AI can take jobs or like it's going to take the place of editors or whatever. I think it's a little bit of a different angle that I can give where it's like AI can actually allow you to operate like a full blown team when you don't have certain things, right? I'm a solopreneur. I operate Marvel World entirely by myself, and having AI is very almost clutch, right? One part of it is AI becomes like, your chat GPT becomes your advisor, it becomes your strategic operations person. Like there is so much to AI that I now have at kind of like my fingertips that has helped me a lot. And the one thing that I want to call out, right, is holy, like the holy of holies in ways that AI has helped Alex August, which is the perfectionist video, right? So a lot of people don't know, but most of the perfectionist video, and I've been holding off on talking about this, most of the perfectionist video was created using AI. And when I say created, I don't mean that anything that you saw there was artificial intelligence. But I will definitely say that there's a story being told in that video that is told through AI. Like, I was actually blown away by how much I was able to get done with Chat GPT when it came to this. And so I've got it here side by side. I'm going to talk a little bit about how and where AI pops up in this music video, right? So for those that don't know, the perfectionist was is directed by myself, coordinated by myself, wardrobe was done by myself. I had makeup done by Edwini Francois. The location sourcing was done in Tampa. So one location was done in Tampa, Florida. The other was done in Clearwater, Florida. 6 models: Pam, Janine, Talia, Bella Pryor, uh, T. George, and Kanisa Nelson. Right. So all of this was kind of very much hand done, shot on mobile, the whole nine. And again, what was actually done with AI was kind of the concept, right? And so a lot of people have been kind of wondering like how I brought all of this to life. And I tell people all the time, the most important thing was the storyboarding. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm still being heard. This is where this aspect comes into play, where it's like when you look into these walls, when you look at the overall what's happening here, this is where AI and Chat GPT came into play. I came up with this entire concept, um, kind of like this world of like, hey yo, if I let's say we were working with a company that was doing this thing, and you guys know I'm a creative writer, I'm a fiction writer. So like I came up with this concept of Project Kimberly Urbana, which was actually a poem that I wrote when I was 19, around the time when I created the beat for this video. And I wanted to almost make it like, some form of a Terminator thing. And Chat GPT was having this conversation with me. It was crazy. So it was like Mark 7, Mark 25, Mark 12, right? And we had an entire conversation about what would the world be like if a company started to sell artificial women who were perfect for their customer, right? Kind of creating a website where you could essentially go and shop and create your own woman and kind of take it from there and be like, yo, I want to buy a perfect woman. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want her to be in perfect shape. And so when you're watching The Perfectionist, literally, as you're looking at the board, you have all of these notes that like Chat GPT was kind of telling me about in this prompt conversation that we were having. And it's like the ideal woman is one of idolized perfection, right? And it's crazy because people talk about like the rise of the machines and all that kind of like sci-fi stuff, but Chat GPT was giving me reasons why this would be a terrible idea. So like, how will they move was one of the questions that Chat GPT brought up. Physical features, right? And so when I went into casting for the video, part of my direction for all of the girls was very much like, hey, I need you to move like this, right? I need you to walk very like robotically. I need y'all to actually move and kind of operate as though you're mannequins almost, right? So in my direction of the girls, like I'm talking to them and I'm like, listen, I need you guys to be mannequins, but in being mannequins, I need you to be somewhat robotic. And when you're not robotic, I need you to be robotically sensual, right? This is all information that ChatGPT has given me. And so with the information that I was taking from it, I'm basically, you know, I'm directing and kind of taking my creative freedom, right? So everyone who ever talks about Chat GPT and getting your prompts from it, they're always going to tell you don't use exactly what it says, but instead kind of use more of like a little bit of a take it and kind of add your creative liberties to it so that you know exactly what you need to be doing. So all of this video, the markings on the body, casting Talia, casting Pam, casting Janine, wanting different body types, all of that was based on information that ChatGPT was giving me, and then me taking that and kind of storyboarding it, right? So obviously this is more of a directorial project, but for the most part, when I think of storyboarding, I definitely think of using Chat GPT, and then also just kind of taking a few other tools and things like that, which I shout out Milanote all the time. So as you guys know, the video is hella fun to shoot. And then once it goes into the second half of the video as well, then that's kind of where I unleashed and was just like everything that we did in the beginning, I want to kind of create the opposite for. So, I when I think of AI and using AI as a creator, I 100% think of like this was a job. This video, crazy shot of me next to me, that's wild. But this job of creating and bringing the perfectionist video to life was like a job that would have taken it would have taken months on months on months, and it would have taken dozens on dozens of people to do. And here I was being able to use the storyboarding app Milanote, and then also being able to use ChatGPT to bring a lot of these ideas and kind of, all of those angles. It took me about 4 to 5 weeks to plan. And then, like I mentioned, as I've mentioned in previous videos and things like that, it took me 2 days to shoot, 6 hours of shooting, and then took like 13 weeks to edit. The 13 weeks to edit was really And this is like the one thing that I take the most pride in with this video is like the color grading. Um, Being able to take this from a very vivid environment where there's so much color on the girls, their skin was popping with color, and then being able to strip that color, bring it down to like black and white with the red popping while not making them look off color and all that kind of stuff was that took a lot of time. But again, overall, like using ChatGPT to tell the story, to build the background, the backdrop, and all of that, and kind of take it from there. And I'm like super excited. If you're tuned in right now, I'm actually super excited and curious to see like if anyone would want to see the actual chat, like the prompts themselves from Chat GPT, because I will be honest with y'all and say that I was very intrigued and very caught off guard with some of the things that it was saying. Everything from like why a company should never sell like this kind of product, the ethical issues, the comparisons between like perfect women and video vixens. It was robust, yo. It was super super robust. I still have it because I think it actually makes for a very good storyline. And yeah, so last thing, my favorite frame in this video is that a lot of people do not know that there's actually a subliminal message in this video, and I'll try to catch it right. Let's see if I can get it. Let's see if I can get it. I'm gonna try to catch it right here. Nope. Right. Okay, it's coming up. Right there. Did you see that? So right in front of that, it says break up with your fantasies, which that whole concept of like these girls being kind of fantasy women and all that, like this video, I'm actually super, I say it all the time. I'm very, very proud of the Perfectionist video because a lot of thought went into it, a lot of intentionality went into it, the whole nine, and then, just making it come all, all come together, man. So check that out. That's the Perfectionist video. That's actually available on Good Knocking. Good Knocking. Wow. What? That is available on my website, alexaugust.com. We're going to get to Good Knocking in a little bit. Wow. That really happened. Okay. Take a deep breath. Let's take a sip of my drink. Not shouting out what I'm drinking because they're not sponsoring me. But if you are tuned in, checking it out, drop a quick what's up in the chat. You're joining me for my October recaps right here on My Real Vivid Life, just kind of taking you through what all has been taking place. And so I talked a little bit earlier about the whole idea of hair. I talked about like how I look at everything that I shoot almost from the sense of fashion. I do have an intention, and I do very much want to work with apparel and clothing brands and fashion. I have my own merch line myself. So I'm very interested in just the way that people feel when they put clothes on, how they feel when they dress up, or when they decorate themselves, when they make themselves up. And so that's very much like what my interests are. So let's take a quick step in another direction, because this is also important too. And I'm going to grab a quick video from this world as well, where, let's talk about how I met the gentleman himself. I love picking on him. I call Richard, but Rich Rocket, right? So I met Rich Rocket, and I wouldn't even really say that I met him. Uh, but it was one of those situations where you're going somewhere. I was going to Afro Punk Atlanta, and he was in front of me, and I'm like, okay, I thought my outfit was wild, but I'm actually very conservative compared to everybody else that's here, including Rich Rocket. So he's there, he's kicking it. And of course, there's like platforms all over the place to take photos at. And I don't really recall seeing him for the rest of Afropunk. But then we ended up following each other, and you react to someone's video, you react to someone's photo, you comment, you like, blah blah blah. And long story, I found out that he had his own merch line, and I had my own merch line. His merch is focused on sustainability. Mine was very much focused on kind of self, right? So very, very different. But I think regardless of what the background is of talking about merchandise and apparel, you find common ground. And so I believe last year, 2022, when I went to Baltimore to visit because I was considering moving there, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize you lived in the area. And I always grew up knowing that like the DMV doesn't recognize Baltimore, right? Like Baltimore is not part of the quote DMV. Um, but I didn't realize how close Baltimore is to the said DMV. So you can hop and skip all over. So found out that he was in the area, definitely kept closer touching it with him. And then earlier this year, kind of almost to my surprise, he mentioned that he was doing a fashion show, and I was moving around a hell of a lot. So I was like, yo, if you invite me, man, I'll slide, man. I'll be in your fashion show. So I did the prelude earlier this year, and I think that was where I was in the planning phase for the perfectionist. So just being in the planning phase and going to Baltimore to do this show, one gave me the confidence of like, in order to help someone be comfortable as a model, I have to understand how to be a model myself. I don't know if that's entirely true, but that's how I looked at it, right? Excuse me. That's how I entirely looked at it. And so with that, I'm like, cool, bet. Let me be in the show. And then now he has models. So like I'm in his show as a model, but I'm shooting models at the event. And that actually is where, this whole thing came to life. I didn't mean for it to start playing. This whole thing came to life and just kind of grew legs of its own. One of my like favorite videos to shoot, right? One of my favorites because there was no planning. There was absolutely no planning involved. That video took all of maybe 20 minutes to shoot, maybe 25 to shoot. And then I just kind of slapped it all together, and just the outfit, the vision all came together. And I was actually shooting clips and overlaying the perfectionist on it and just thinking to myself, like, I could technically make a mashup video for the perfectionist, but now we're gonna stick to the script, right? We're gonna shoot this video in April. So that was just a few weeks before the actual production for the perfectionist. And I just was in awe of like what it looks like to be part of a show from the background aspect, because it was fast paced. It was very much like, yo, we're gonna go this and do this and this, and we took it from there. And so keeping up with Rich, finding out that he had other events, finding out that I was going to the Master Pioneer Awards, he reached out to me again, mentioning that he had another show coming out, and it just so happened to be in the same weekend. So I'm like, hey, dude, I'm already gonna be in Baltimore. I will come, bro. And I will most definitely. You already know, like I'm coming to shoot like content. Like there isn't a day where Alex August gets on a plane and goes somewhere and doesn't shoot content. Actually, there is, but those are like true to nature, like vacations where I disconnect and I try my best, my damn best, not to shoot, not to shoot content. They're very very rare. I went to Mexico this summer and I didn't shoot anything, which was just so. So rare. Like I can't even believe I did that. So yeah, it happens, but not very often. And so um, that weekend, October the 8th, once the Bowie side of the trip was kind of wrapped up, made my way up to Baltimore and took part in the very dope dinner with designers, obviously with Rich, and made that happen. So here we go.
Keep me rocking on the same line. When we get high from the breakdown, we just watching from the same time. But that don't change when I break down. Think we were talking about the same crime. No, we don't hate when it rains down. We more or less at the same time. Ooh, 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 where did it go? Back home, 74. Call this back home. Never gonna cry anymore. Where did it all keep me rocking on the same line? When we get high from the breakdown, we just watch from the same time. Don't change.
Yeah. Dope, man, dope. The show was so dope. And man, to be honest, yeah, we made it. We made it happen, and it was a good time. I made a yeah. I can't even explain it. What's up, V? I see V in the chat. What's popping? I'm just doing some recaps of October. Some of the content that I was shooting over in Baltimore, the Master Pioneer Awards, and then just showing that recap of the fashion show that I was part of, which is called Dinner with Designers. What's going on with you? Drop what's going on. Drop what's popping with you. Actually, I'm going to be West Coasting it very soon. So yeah, it's been dope. We that event was actually faster than that event was actually faster than the previous event that I did with Rich. I got there, we started to set up. Um, Everybody wanted to make sure they weren't ashy, so I had lotion, I had oil, like oiling up because I was originally supposed to be, and I'll be honest with you, I was originally supposed to be in underwear, and I remember just kind of being like, "Hey, bro, like, hear me out, dog. I'm from Florida, you know what I mean, and it's a little cold outside, so I don't really know, I don't really know how I feel about being in my underwear for the show. So I had on overalls, and he was like, actually, I like the overalls look, so just keep the overalls down. We'll throw the jacket over. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool, bet, like that, maybe next time for the whole underwear thing. I'm not that model yet, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not that David Beckham, Calvin Klein model. Let's take it like one at a time, right? This is only my second time being a model, so let's ease into that whole thing. But yeah, man, it was cool. It was very cool experience, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it. Being able to connect with everybody and everyone kind of coming to me with the feedback, bro. Your whole look right now with the beanie and the overalls and the shades, bro. That shit look. It was just dope. Some people even recognized me for the interlude video. So it was amazing, man. Like I love that experience. I'm very thankful for him for having me as part of that show. Um, and so that pretty much wrapped up the entire Baltimore weekend experience. It was a whole lot, honestly. It was a whole lot of experience to be had. It was a whole lot of just everything. And you know, I left that weekend easily with, I want to say upwards of maybe like 75 gigabytes of happenings of stuff, maybe closer to 100. Came back to Tampa Monday, and truthfully, um, it has been even wilder coming back from that because going into the weekend of the 14th, now we're talking USF Homecoming, right? Um, which earlier I slipped up and said good knocking. Shout out to V Patrick. She was part of the good knocking era. We did not forget you. Trust me, we did not forget you. In fact, we didn't forget anybody, right? I want to make sure that I clear that up. Where this idea of doing a good knocking reunion was very. It was actually very random. I'm gonna call it random because we kind of clarified it when we were all together. We are talking on Sunday, but um, I don't even know where to start with this, but I have not legitimately spoken to some of the people on the team in over 10 years. And then all of a sudden 2023 comes and it's like I'm talking to Lola and we're planning a reunion, right? For those that remember, the show kind of just suddenly changed like all of our senior years, and we were getting ready for graduation and stuff like that, and we talk about that in the reunion. But like, for example, Lola left the show in 2020 2013, and I have not spoken with her since recently. So it was a huge leap, and obviously it was a sporadic idea that was just like, maybe we'll do it. We started talking in January. Then I touched back in March, then June, and then July. And then it was like, yo, like for real, let's do it. And when we mapped out where everybody was, I was like, I know V's in LA. Salam is like in LA. Like, it was like everyone is so far out, and we would have to guarantee that everyone is actually able to come back for USF Homecoming. And me personally, this is going to sound super negative, but I'm not entirely convinced that USF Homecoming gives people enough to come back for to make it like a whole thing. We would have to have our own like itinerary that was entirely cut out for this. And so we kind of just left it to the 4 and 5, which is myself, the folks who were on mic during that era, which would be me, Lola, Shantae, Paul, and Rose. And we talked about a lot of what took place. Very interesting because just like anything else, right? Everyone does not remember everything the same way. And so being able to like share those perspectives on everything was very, very eye-opening. Which was crazy. No worries. I still love the show, listening and like participating. I mean, you actually ended up playing a pretty, if I remember that semester correctly, you were involved in 2013, which was when we were planning the award show. That was some heavy lifting. Like that was it was a lot, yo. So it was really cool to not only partake in homecoming, but also like just to run the reunion, like an actual reunion. If you haven't seen photos, we actually it was a full blown reunion. Like we recorded a show, not necessarily like the show itself of Good Knocking. I'm far too rusty to have been able to pull that one off. But we definitely were together. We were 100% like on the couch once again, kind of recollecting on past experiences. Because, a lot of people, and I tell people all the time, like a lot of people don't realize that there was a lot of controversy involved with Good Knocking. Like, and lo and behold, he is now here himself, Mr. Just Cuz 305 he wasn't part of the controversy with Good Knocking, but he was definitely the controversy, on the campus where it was just like we were getting into some real deal spiel, Holyfield trouble. You know what I'm saying? So it was wild, just a wild, wild time. But that was the Good Knocking era. Like it was crazy, bro. Like I to this day I just can't believe it. I'm trying to find a photo that I can overlay on here, but it doesn't look like I can. But real quick, I'm just gonna shout it out one more time. I got my QR code up top. If you are in Tampa, Vivid Nights, November the 5th, taking place at the Heights Lounge. Man, we got hookah, kava, kratom, and of course, lineup that is going to blow away tonight. Myself, Alex August, I am, and Down to Earth, along with Frankie Brown with music by DJ Brightlight. Tickets are on sale right now. You do get a 15% discount if you're bringing groups of 4 or more, and that includes hookah in your purchase. I was only trying to make things better, man. And it's crazy because we all were, right? And so in I'm not gonna spoil the conversation, but I'll definitely talk about what a lot of my perspective was. Is like it kind of made sense, right? And I was talking about this the other day where USF, when I got to USF in 2008, I keep saying 20, in 2008, it was pretty fucking black. Like it was very much a full blown black experience where you walked campus, you had like campus activity board, CAB was led by black students. Homecoming was led by black students. The Office of Multicultural Affairs was led by black students. The president of, I think, Greek life or something like that was like black. We just came off of having a black student body president. So getting to USF and seeing how black and how rich of an experience it was kind of cool. And then you go into me becoming an OTL in 2009, and then the group that comes after that, they basically told us in 2008, like, had you been coming to USF in 2009, you wouldn't have made it. Essentially, that was kind of like some of the talkings, right? The SAT scores were higher, the ACT scores were higher, the requirements went up, and then the school just started to kind of shape in a different way, right? Those black leaders were gone. And so for me personally, I kind of became critical of that. And then not to mention, like, my experience as an OTL was very, I kind of felt like I was somewhat sold a dream, right? Where it was like, this is the best thing for your career, but it's like, but you have to put so much on the line, including your financial well-being. I didn't hear. I mean, who cares, right? It is what it is. It's not like any students are listening to this, but the pay was actually more of like a stipend. But also, you can't work while you're doing that because you have to dedicate so much time. So, I just became very like critical of the university in terms of like some of the direction it was going and some of the happenings that were going on campus. That's just that was just Alex, right? And coming from a small school, USF, when it felt like a small school and a small community, felt cool. When it wasn't being that, it was just all over the place. And so all of the traditions that I loved as a freshman didn't even exist when I was a sophomore. And so that's kind of where it birthed this, like, Alex is hypercritical, and also Alex is like vocal about his criticism. So it's me just being like, there is a better way to do this. And then everyone's response back then was very much like, well, get involved. And it's like, well, I'm trying to, and you're giving me pushback, right? I tried to join this, and like you gave me pushback because I don't know, I'm the fiery militant hotep who wants to like, whatever. So, it was a lot of controversy back then. And then me getting a radio show only, what's the word to say? It only propelled that because now it gave me a platform and a voice and a following. So I was a little dangerous back then. I ain't gonna say like dangerous, but I was doing something that was definitely ruffling a lot of feathers back then. Yeah. But yeah, yeah. The good knocking era was definitely dope. And to that effect, I cannot wait until we are done and through with our edit of this very, very dope situation, man. So yeah, y'all. As my channel continues growing, yo, I'm definitely interested in working with brands and other creators and collaborators. There is an opportunity to be a guest on these live shows, so if you are interested, that we can make that happen. But I'm very much interested in working with brands and creators that allow some form of teaching opportunity or some way of kind of bringing that essence of vividness to our audience, and making things happen. So if you are interested, for sure, check me out on my website. That's alexaugust.com. I'm always open. And of course, I have the opportunity to subscribe to my website. So if you are, again, interested in that, let's make it happen. Let's bring some of these opportunities to expand. But dude, I'm using this whole YouTube thing, and Twitch. As y'all know, I'm not really a big fan of like Instagram Live. I can see all of your chats very much moving throughout. So I love that, right? I love being able to do that. If you guys do have Twitch, by the way, I'm just gonna kind of say this in the most thirsty manner. I am 3 followers away from hitting a milestone of 20. If y'all have a Twitch, I would highly love it and appreciate it if y'all could just give me a follow on Twitch so that I can, hit that milestone and keep on with my merry way. But this is easily one of the longest streams that I've done in a while, and being able to make that happen. So if you can, definitely check that out. So I want to call out 3 spots. As I do these and I tell stories of where I've been, I also want to call out a couple of spots that I highly recommend y'all check out. And probably going to try to make this a little bit more visually appealing and bring this to the website for sure. But there were 3 spots that I highly recommend in the Baltimore area if you're ever in Baltimore, whether it's a Rays game, Orioles game, um, whatever. But Oxymoron Bar and Bistro is a black-owned spot in Baltimore downtown. Um, Very nice aesthetic. The drinks, the bar situation was really, really dope. Really loved it. It wasn't too busy while I was there, which I enjoyed, right? I didn't want to go to, then this was after the fashion show. So I didn't want to go anywhere that was super, super crazy, but it had a super nice bar, decorated cocktails, very nice situation, and the food was great. So I can honestly speak on that. If you're looking for something a little bit more ducked off, something a little bit more decorated and nice, there is a rooftop spot called Topside. Loved it, yo. The octopus. Octopus is now my new little kick. I just love it so much. Roasted octopus. I've always been a sucker for some good duck. Um, and Topside has both, right? So if you're ever in the area, again, there's a restaurant called Topside. Very nice dishes. The mixology there is mwah. And of course, you get a view of Baltimore that I did not know I needed to see and appreciate until I got there. So, nice little rustic kind of warehouse feel to it up top in the building. And then down low of that same building is the B-side cocktails and karaoke. So, this is very much like your typical karaoke joint where you can rent out the rooms, you can do the whole karaoke situation. And then if you take one of your karaoke coins, drop it into a jukebox machine, this giant door opens up, and boom, you are inside a dope little speak easy kind of listening lounge situation that I think is worthy of all of the photos of the drinks, all of the photos of the roof, the flooring, just the atmosphere in there with some really nice jams that I was enjoying the whole time I was there. So those are the 3 spots, man. Oxymoron Bar and Bistro, Topside, and the B-side karaoke and cocktails and karaoke. There we go. There we go. Nah, Baltimore. Yo, it's crazy. Like, I remember telling everybody that I was interested in moving to Baltimore, and the first thing everybody would say was like, "Why?" And I'm like, like foolishly, right? At the time, this is like March of 2022. I was looking to move probably May of 2022. I'm like, if you looked at the cost of living in the U.S., Baltimore had the cheapest. Like at the time, I don't know what it is now. Baltimore had, if you wanted $1,000 rent, Baltimore had it. If you wanted cost of living that was really really low, Baltimore had it. If you had like all of it, like numerically, Baltimore had what I was looking for. Cool. So Alex August has, I will admit, that I never saw the show The Wire, right? um, I never saw the show The Wire, so I didn't really know. So I have a frat brother that was living out there at the time, and I'm like, yo, I'm sending him locations, and he's like, yo, that ain't really my side of town. Like, I wouldn't really do that, and I'm like, show me what the pictures that I'm not seeing on Zillow look like. And he showed it to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Why that's 1095 a month, right? That makes sense why that's 1107 per month, right? Like all of the numbers were starting to make sense based on the locations. But here's my honest to God truth, right? As a Floridian, as soon as I see brick, cobblestone, and like snow weathered roads, like in up north, it snows and then like the roads just get super like uneven. It's fall, so the trees are dying. Like I immediately am just like I'm in a new space. Like so I say all that to say that I can't really tell what's a hood up north because dead trees, uneven concrete, and bricks already looks hood to me. Like I sound mad like ignorant saying that, but it already looks hood to me. So I don't know the difference between cobblestone and bricks over here and cobblestone and bricks. It all looks hood to me because that's what the hood looks like down here, right? I went to Chicago and I'm in an area and I'm like, yo, all of the grass is dead. It's growing all over the place. It's growing from beneath the concrete. The tree roots are under the concrete. It's lifting it up. Like in Florida, that's stuff that they take care of like this because it makes the area look bad. In Chicago, they were like, oh no, we're in a pretty healthy side of town. And I'm like, these buildings look like they were built in the 1920s. Up north, that's normal. Down here, houses that are built in the 1920s, oh, you're in Seminole Heights, bro. Like, be careful. There's a serial killer. You know what I mean? So, to me, I wasn't really looking at it like that. Let me read the chat real quick. I wonder why it's the cheapest. Yeah. I mean, the crime rate it's downtown, bro. Like, you go downtown Tampa, the crime rate's high. You go to downtown Miami, the crime rate's high. You go to downtown anywhere, right? Metropolitan area, you go anywhere, the crime is high. But what's the crime? Petty theft, breaking into cars, stealing catalytic converters. It's to me, it's all the same. He showed you the vacants. No, I was looking on like Zillow. Unless you want to switch up the content to being a dope fiend whisperer, I can't see a reason why I moved moved to Chicago, but it's cold half the year. I like Chicago though. Like, you know what I mean? I like Chicago. I think Chicago is very nice. Um, but I say all that to say with Baltimore, having had moved to Baltimore, meeting people who live in Baltimore, being among communities in Baltimore, I gotta say, yo, like quiet is kept. I would actually move to Baltimore. Like I would. Like I actually would move to Baltimore to just flat out go out there and genuinely enjoy it. I think it's much different. I think it's like just when you go out there, it's legitimately a community and they make things happen like this. It's like, oh, you need this, boom. Like, oh, you need this, bam. Like versus down here, it's almost like the I'm gonna just say it like it you don't really get a sense of like the crabs in the bucket kind of situation, and I'm going kind of far. So I'm going kind of far with that, and I don't know if I really want to take it into that that side of the conversation. But y'all let me know what y'all think. All right, let's see. Okay, so yeah, I mean Baltimore was on the it was on the docket of places to move to. I was 100% gonna pull the trigger on it. I think I got a pretty good tour, but also like I said, up north, it's just different, yo. Like things that are normal up there, I'd be freaking out, man. You go to New York and like the steam is coming out of the ground and stuff, and I'm like, what is that? Like, where is this steam coming from? And no one in New York really has a good explanation of what it is. So I'm left to assume the city's just farting. You know what I mean? The city's just letting out like a smooth, hot ass fart of just sewage air that's just farting into the air. So to me, that's disgusting. New York, and it's Tuesday morning. So I don't really think too deeply into it. Went to the DMV last year and nothing there gave me a reason to live there. Nah, man. I mean, there's the DMV and then there's Alexandria and then there's Bowie and there's Baltimore and then there's like straight up Chocolate City, Washington D.C. And I've been to DC a few times and you can figure out that it's extremely expensive to live there or it's extremely expensive to breathe the air there. And so you realize that everybody kind of lives around it and travels in. But I actually don't mind that. Like, I don't mind that. Like, I think it's kind of cool. But like chocolate, just straight up Chocolate City, DC is gorgeous. It's really, really dope. I just want to visit. I love seeing my people. That cost of living ain't. Oh, the cost of living. Okay, I thought that was the same person, people. Because I was gonna say I thought that was V saying that the cost of living was a problem. And I'm like, you're in California. Yeah, if there's anyone who can enter the cost of living chat, it is our good friends over on the West Coast on the what is it, the San Andreas fault. Yes, those are the people who can talk about cost of living. Let's see here. Huh. Yeah, man, it's crazy, and now I actually I don't want to spoil it, but California is actually possibly on the list of places to go. But yeah, just gonna show this real quick. Buy me a coffee. You know what I mean? If you want to support your boy, um, I always take donations for streams. Uh, for the cost of $7.95, I can get a lavender oat milk latte from our nearby local coffee shop. So if you can, you know what I mean, no pressure. Just take your time. But yeah, man, the places to go, I'll say this: if I had to create a top five list, it's expensive. I'm looking at Texas or back to Florida. You know, let's talk about that for a second, right? Because there's this like idea that red states versus blue states, and like red states are always less expensive. Expensive, are they? Right? I got you on a coffee, but it's got to have real dairy. What kind of torture is that? No, no, absolutely not. Like everyone is moving to Texas, and I get that, right? But like Texas, in my opinion, is just Florida's ratchet ass cousin, like country ass ratchet cousin. Like I don't really see a difference between Florida and Texas. And what you're not paying for in actual costs, I feel like you're gonna pay for in your experience, right? Cool. Texas has cheap homes. Awesome. Texas doesn't have a power grid. And everyone tries to make it seem like these problems don't exist. But like I work with people who live in Austin, in Dallas, and in Houston. And in the wintertime, they are fighting for their lives. Like, not even kidding for you. Not I am not kidding you. They are fighting for their lives in the wintertime. Like their heaters don't work, water pipes are busting, like suddenly just nothing works in terms of the utility infrastructure. I would not want to be in that experience. Like Texas is getting colder and colder every year. I'm straight. Like take me out. Like if that's basically like Florida every summer, suddenly the power grid goes out and no one has AC, right? we would all be extremely miserable. So that's that, right? If you remember 20 years ago, just about right before the housing market crashed, Pacific Gas and Electric, PNG, PG&E, or whatever it's called, that controls California, they were randomly turning off the power in California, just out of the blue, out of nowhere, right? So it makes life extremely miserable. Like it's not cool. So yeah, you go to Dallas, but you ain't got power in the easy to overlook that. Oh, the house cost, the house cost 300,000. Oh, this is perfect for us. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And then the whole thing with Texas, it's just you know I don't know. I got to go back to Texas to be truthful with y'all. I got to go back to Texas and enjoy it because my last time in Texas, I didn't enjoy it at all. Which was my 30th birthday. 30th birthday in Houston. I didn't enjoy it. There's a lot of additional factors to be mindful of, for sure. I hear that, but I didn't enjoy it at all. So real quick, I'm just gonna remind y'all, man, this is my YouTube channel, My Real Vivid Life on I am Alex August. Pretty much doing recaps of everything from, travel experiences, journeys, and pretty much doing that, showing you guys a vivid life through vlogs, travel, and creative day-to-day adventures and tips and tricks and things like that on how I do content. So if you're interested or if you're enjoying this stream, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications and personalized recommendations on videos. And of course, just show a video or two love. If you're checking this out on Twitch, also follow me, also subscribe. I would love that. That would get me kind of where I'm going in terms of trying to get these streams to make sense. Earlier, I talked a little bit about AI and working through AI to bring the perfectionist music video to life. ChatGPT created an entire storyline that I kind of snatched a little piece of and used for the video and made that pretty much a reality. So if y'all are kicking it with me, if y'all are checking this out, man, I really really appreciate y'all because this is what the goal is, kind of bringing these videos and these topics to life while just kicking it, right, giving a little bit more color to the whole situation. But yeah, yo, I see you, my boy. What's going on, dog? I'm actually in South Florida right now, so good to see you and good to hear from you. Let's actually just do some quick little pieces here because I do want to be able to show you guys what we got working over in our. Just bring you guys up to speed with Vivid Life Apparel. So if you're interested, y'all, definitely maximum like 18 characters. Oh, I'm messing up. Yeah, I just want to remind y'all that I also have Vivid Life Apparel merch available. You can check that out now, man. We got new stuff coming, new pairs of sneakers coming to the site, new T-shirts and phone cases, including that brand new iPhone 15 phone case. So that'll be coming more than likely November 1st. Don't hold off too. Don't wait too long. Are you still doing the show? The show, the show. Which show? So you back? No, I'm just here for like the week, pretty much, kind of just kicking it. Nothing permanent. Actually, gonna be going back to Tampa. Um, did I miss the backstory for Vivid Life Apparel? You probably did, yo. And so how do I want to maybe introduce this? Um, are you doing a show for the apparel? Oh. So let me kind of give you guys a little bit of backdrop on Vivid Life Apparel. And I am actually Dude, I had a Celsius earlier, and that thing is kind of kicking me right now. But in the past, when I went by a former name, Mr. Marvel, and this is kind of the predecessor to all the Marvel World stuff, my brand was called by Alex August, or I'm sorry, by Mr. Marvel. And so it was like events by Mr. Marvel, hosted by Mr. Marvel, and then it was called Threads by Mr. Marvel, and then kind of changed to Tags by Marvel. So the apparel line was called Tags by Marvel. And then once, the good knocking kind of piece fell out of it, that was gone. And then once I started working through creating Marvel World, I just decided that I didn't want the merch to be so focused on who Mr. Marvel was going to be because I was getting rid of that name. And plus, Tags by Marvel sounds very Marvel Comics, Marvel Studio. So just to get rid of all of that, I just kind of destroyed that concept. And once I came up with the My Real Vivid Life, then it was like, okay, well, this is the merchandise and this is the apparel of the Vivid Life. So Vivid Life apparel was born from that. And all of the designs kind of changed from like very Alex thought centric to like more conceptual, right? So Give Me Space is one of the merch pieces there. If y'all could, can somebody just like scan the QR code? Just scan this really quick so it can take you to the website so somebody can like see the merch. But yeah, like Give Me Space is one of our top selling pieces where it's like, one part of it is like during the pandemic, we were all kind of like, yo, give me space, like give me the 6 feet. But also very much celebrating the kind of the pillars of the Vivid Life concept, which is stars and roses, right? And so stars and roses. Stars represents like us being something greater than what we are, us coming from something bigger than where we're coming from. And then, the other part of that being like the roses, which is like we are here on earth, we are of the ground, we will be of the ground when we pass, and kind of like keeping that legacy of like growth. So Vivid Life is kind of all of those things kind of together. So you'll see the classic Stars and Roses working on a new design for Stars and Roses, kind of the second version, second iteration of that, and just keeping that going. So it is my official apparel line. And just kind of it's kind of fallen to the wayside. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. It's kind of fallen to the wayside. But as of the Vivid Nights in the summer, I was able to sell all of my inventory and pretty much kind of getting everything back up. But I definitely want new designs and kind of like slimming down some of the designs. I haven't gotten a lot of like feedback over the last like year and a half. So we're working with brand new designs and just kind of bringing it life back to zero and just being able to maintain it so we can keep on going. So very rare that I would wear, because I thought about this. Like I was like, do I really want to go on my channel wearing New Balance? But you'll probably never see me in like some form of a large logo ever again because I typically am wearing my own stuff. So either something that is literally mine or something that is like representative of what's mine. So I have the roses on today. You might see me wearing stars another day, burgundy, all that kind of stuff. But a lot more are coming to Vivid Life Apparel. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, let me see if I can do. Can I do two QR codes at the same time? I think I can, right? Oh no, I can't. Okay. But yeah, tickets available. Vivid Nights, keeping that going. And yeah, let me see something. I saw you mention that. Drop the link. Are you still doing the show? So you back in South Florida? Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all comments too. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I enjoy this so much more than Instagram Live, yo. Just because it's just smoother, dog. It's just so much smoother. Like I can see all of y'all chats without like stream scrolling up and stuff like that, and I can control like overlays. I can add guests. I can share my screen. So yeah, actually, while I am sharing my screen, let me actually show y'all. I was talking about a photo from earlier. So let me see. Bam. I was talking about a photo earlier from, our when we are talking about the whole Good Knocking reunion, and like this is the photo, right? Just us kind of kicking it once again back on the couch, having the conversations about the show, having conversations about, what happened, right? A lot of people actually don't know what happened. And ironically, the five of us don't even know what happened. It was crazy. It's just like it all kind of just it all kind of just like unraveled from under us. And we were 22, 23 years old, trying to get our lives together, trying to graduate and stuff like that. So being able to have those conversations was pretty dope. Vivid Life Tour should have been rebranded as a Bum Beanie Travels temporarily. um I tell you what, I almost like that, so I'll just put that on a shirt. How about that? With like a small avatar of me on it, with like a book bag flying spirit. Oh man, let me grab this real quick. Grab this photo for the gram, and also like now that I'm shooting so much with my phone, I am realizing that I want to be free from my phone. Like I actually don't want to be so attached to my phone. So let me get another one. So being able to stream not on my phone, it helps greatly. Not to mention that like don't make me get on a rant because I'll just keep going and going and going. But yeah, if you guys have not been able to do so, definitely check out my website as well. All things Alex August, go there. And I have membership tiers as well because there's premium content. Pause. That go to members only. And it's not that kind of content. It's like legit behind the scenes, like educational content surrounding like AI, how to create stuff, what's in my toolbox. And I'm going to start creating a lot of Amazon lists of like the things that I buy to make things happen. So I'll show you the video and I'll show you all of the equipment that I use to make the video and kind of help you out with whatever content you're trying to create. Twitch is definitely pro not even definitely the one platform that I will say like over the last 13 years I have not been able to master Twitch. Um I think Justin asked a question earlier about like am I do I stream gaming? I actually do. Every now and then I stream on there, but like this is something that I've made mention of before, which let's just keep it a buck, right? My demographic does not care for Twitch. My demographic doesn't care for Twitch. My demographic does not want to download Twitch. And when my demographic goes on to Twitch and sees what the majority of it is, it has no appeal. Like, I don't present myself as a gamer. I play video games as like a little bit of like therapy, just like, oh, look, I have nothing to do. Let me focus on something and think for like an hour and a half and then kind of just part ways with it. So I don't play like Call of Duty. I play Rogue Company. I'm considering buying Madden because I just really used to love playing Madden. Like it's probably the game that I can play probably the most, but I don't like Madden's prices. And I have a digital PS5. So if I buy Madden for $69 this year, if I want to keep up with it, I have to buy Madden again next year for $69, which is for me, it's an absolute not, you know? So there's no interest for me showing the gaming, and there's no interest for my viewers and my demographic to watch me play games. Like one, most people that follow me, they have iPhones. So I have to be very careful with like, you're gonna have to download another app. They're like, oh, I don't have space on my phone. Um, and then most of my demographic is also usually women who don't care for Twitch. And not only that, but I think I think it is definitely an ignorant conversation But I think a lot of people feel as though like playing video games as a whole, is childish, which I disagree with. Right? Um, I think video games are dope. I think video games are cool. I think it's good to have video games as an outlet. And not to mention, like, video games are very, if you're a streamer and you're a content creator, you have a medium, you have like a focus point for your content creation as a streamer. Whereas, like, I've been on stream now for like an hour and a half. If you don't care who this guy with locks is and a rose bandana, if you don't care who I am, you're not going to stay on the stream if you just happen to pass it by. But if I'm playing a video game and you're interested in Rogue Company, if you're interested in the latest video game that came out, like, I'm using that game to attract you, and you're using that game to be interested in me. You get what I'm saying? So, like, it's an even exchange. Otherwise, like, you go on TikTok, right? And what are people doing on TikTok Live? They're just like, I'm not gonna say a word until someone makes me laugh. Like, is that an actual topic of conversation, or is that someone who just happens to have 1,000 followers and is trying to figure out a way to do engagement? For me, I'm just like, you know, let the people have fun, man. Like, if they want to play video games, let them play video games. If they don't want to play video games, then they're not gonna play video games, right? To each their own. Don't yuck someone's yum. Thought you were gonna say something else. I was gonna say what you think I was gonna say, because I was thinking about saying it, but I decided, maybe just not keep it there. Because after all, I'm streaming on Twitch right now, so I want to make sure that, like, I don't, like, go against the grain here. But yeah, I really like streaming. I just think of the idea that my first start and everything was from streaming. Like, Good Knocking started off as a web show where I was essentially doing this, right? YouTube didn't have live yet. Did they? Did YouTube have live in 2010? I think they might have. I think they might have. YouTube definitely had very easy capabilities to post content and post video content. As it became a larger platform, that's where they brought in, you got to have 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers to do this. You've got to be able to do, like, that's where they kind of brought in the brackets and things like that. Some people's there you go right there, the man himself, Rich Rocket. But some people's yum be wild yucky. We were talking about I talked about dinner with designers a little bit earlier. I agree with you, though. Some people's yum be wild yucky. I can't say that video games is, I can't say it. Like, I can't verbalize that video games are yucky because I play video games. So I be defending the gamers, but I be losing that defense. Like, because people's imagination of video games is like a guy in his underwear, like, stomach out, uh, a pizza crust here, pizza crust in his beard, fingernails dirty. His mom is in the back yelling at him to move his socks and to stop having skid marks in his underwear, and he's playing video games, that's just not what it looks like. You hear about the kids who make like $7 million on $7 million on YouTube playing video or playing with toys, and everyone's just like, "Oh man, if that was me, man, I would definitely do that." And it's like, well, there's people making $7 million playing video games. Can I explain it? Partially. Can you explain it? Nah. Like, you think it's a naked dude in underwear. Where, the other day I went and saw the movie Gran Turismo that was recently out, and it's about a kid who was playing Gran Turismo, the video game, and they decided to do this competition where they would take the people who were the best at the video game and try to make it where they would actually compete with real life drivers. And this kid went from playing the video game, he was the best Gran Turismo player, and then he became an actual Formula One or rally, whatever the driving style is. He became one of the top drivers, like in the actual sport itself, from playing video games. So like he's rich, like, he's a millionaire. Like his dad was like mad at him because all he would ever do was play video games instead of playing soccer in person. And then Nissan decided to bring him on to the actual team, and they were like, "Yo, this is the craziest, dumbest idea we could ever have." But because he played the video game, like now he's an actual racer, which is crazy. But at the same time, I tell people all the time, growing up playing Gran Turismo on PlayStation, I legitimately learned how to drive a car. Like we used to have the steering wheel and the pedals, so I learned how to drive a car playing Gran Turismo. It didn't feel so crazy to me. So yeah. Oh, I need to make sure I have captions on for these videos. Closed captions, I should say. So let's see. Yeah, man. All right, so I've officially hit 90 minutes, and I have consumed a Celsius, y'all. So unfortunately, my stomach is very much fighting me right now for food, and I do need to make sure that I, feed the stomach and take it from there. So I'm just gonna run through a few things real quick, just a couple of housekeeping announcements. First things first. I would highly appreciate a subscription from you all to the channel. These series of videos, My Real Vivid Life, one part of it is going to be me going live, telling stories about what I've recently shot, and then releasing all of that content right here on my YouTube channel. And then the other part of that is um, sorry, I lost my train of thought because I am hungry. So one part is going to be going live on Wednesdays. I definitely want to have a stream schedule so you guys always know what time to come check me out. And so Wednesdays, I'm looking to go live at 3 p.m. Unless otherwise announced on my posts tab. And then Fridays, I'll be going live at noon unless otherwise posted on my posts and community tab. Um, and pretty much wanting to tell stories about where I've recently been, what I've recently shot, and then allowing that to be kind of your introduction to those videos releases as they drop onto YouTube, and then following up on Instagram. So kind of giving you guys a home of where to find the content, and of course talking about a lot of the behind the scenes information as well as the behind the scenes, like overall, like I said, the equipment, kind of the vision, some of the apps that I use. I talked about Milanote earlier, talked about ChatGPT earlier. So wanted to make that like the home, right? When you guys come here, that's the kind of content we'll be discussing and taking from there, along with some of the other stuff, right? I'm a human being. I have tons of interests, and I want to make sure that we have the channel and the place to meet, talk shit, and kind of go through that with. So I appreciate y'all for checking me out today on My Real Vivid Life. This will be available on my channel, and of course, clips from this will also be made available to you guys to enjoy and watch. So, like I mentioned, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, personalize all, or just enjoy the channel as it is. And also be sure to visit my website, alexaugust.com, and go to the welcome page to look into memberships, create a membership. You will receive email notifications and newsletters right to your inbox on all things Marvel World, all things Vivid Life Tour, all things Vivid Life in general. For my Twitch people over on that end, be sure to follow me. I do stream some games every now and then and have conversations with the likes of I Am the Top Dog, DJ Brightlight, Bus '07. Good times always, whether we're playing, Road Company. I just got on Farm Simulator 22. So I plan on getting some farming in and enjoying that. I didn't know if you would have told me that Farm Simulator would have been a new game that everyone's going to be jumping on. Hey, I love me a good simulator, so I'm not entirely surprised. So, yeah, man, just want to give you guys those housekeeping. This Saturday, 13 Ugly Men in Tampa presents the biggest Halloween party of the year. Alex August will be there in costume shooting content for that event. Check me out there. That's in Tampa in Ybor City at the Cuban Club. Tickets are available right now. Go to 13uglymen.com for tickets. November 5th, Vivid Nights presented by I Am Alex August and Marvel World at the Heights Lounge in Tampa. Tickets are available right here. Scan that QR code for your packages. If you're coming in 4 or more, there's a 15% discount, right? $15, that means you're not paying $60 to go with you and 3 friends. So check me out that night. It's going to be a good time. Y'all keep the Vivid life going. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody, and for y'all conversations and y'all chats. I'm out of here.
Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss, take off the weird ass jewelry, I'ma take 10 steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricated streams and the microwave memes, it's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo, take off the sandal, pay 5 days stay, take off for the meal, have the 5 take off the fuck flag, take off the reception, take off the cop with the hot patch, take off the unload, take off the unsure. Take off the decisions I had. Take off the fake thing, take off the fake boat, take off the humble, I care.